Right, guys and gals, whoever's out there, wherever you are, we are here to talk about cleaning our system, right? Cleaning it, taking care of it. This is an often overlooked part of owning a PC. You know, you just think, oh, look, I've put it together, I'll let it sit, and, you know, now it's fine. The honest truth is you really, really need to open, you know, your machine up every so often and give it a good clean out. So I'm just gonna, you know, this is basically just a video showing me as I kind of go through my system trying to clean it. As you can see, I have micro filters installed outside. These ones are actually custom made. They're magnetic, so they just, you know, they fit on the side there perfectly and cover up those huge gaping holes. Same with this top one here. And as you can see, this has certainly done its job. It has gathered a lot, well, prevented a lot of dust from going inside the system. Even so, I have that microfilter on. You can kind of see from the change in color that my top fan here still has quite a bit of dust on the outside. Here we go, the other. I'm taking all the side panels off just so we can get a decent look in here and also give us access to everything. I think I'm just going to move this a little bit. Oh no, yes, I'm going to talk about this front grille here. See how this has also collected quite a lot of dust. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this off because basically, you know, I need to get in there. I need to try to get as much of this dust off as I can. If I'm honest, this is actually a bit finicky on this case because of the way this grille's designed. As you can see, there's a lot of uneven surfaces. So for this, I'm going to use a little micro brush like this. You know, it's just a little duster, but it does the job really, really well. I'm also going to use compressed air. Keep in mind when you're using compressed air, do not shake the can, right? You want to hold it steady and you want to hold it level. Too much of an angle and you'll end up having liquid come out. Now, as you can see here on the front, I've got micro filters installed there in front of those fans, and holy hell, as you can see, they have captured or prevented a lot of dust from going into the system. Even so, you know, there is still a decent amount of dust that has made its way in. So I'm just going to start off with giving that a quick dusting. Right, now, yes, this is going to make dust go everywhere, but that's fine because I'm going to get in there and I'm going to clean everything. I'm just knocking the, you know, the bulk of it off. I'm also going to take out my drive bays here because these are also little dust collectors. As you can see, because of the way they're designed, air is going to come in through there as well, and unfortunately I don't have any foam or microfilters installed there. So again, I'm just going to give everything just a light dusting first. This is just to get the bulk of the dust and any kind of grime off. Then I'm going to take my little mini duster. Because this is finer and stiffer, this actually allows me to really get in there on the microfilter. Then a nice shot of compressed air. Now, yes, you might say, well, wait a minute, why are you shooting it that way? Well, look, I've got a radiator behind there, so I need to blow air from both sides. I'm trying to get gunk to come out the radiator as well. If you've got a water-cooled system, you know yourself, radiators will just gather dust like there's no tomorrow. And of course, the more buildup that's in there, the less efficient they're going to be. So what I'm doing here is twofold. Whilst I'm, you know, trying to dust off the fan and the microfilter, my main goal here is to actually blow air all the way through the radiator. Now, yes, that means dust is coming through the other side and landing on the system components. But since we're about to go in there and give all that a clean, you know, it's not the end of the world. See, so now likewise, I'm coming from the back side of the radiator and also giving a blast here. And as you can see, there's still quite a bit of dust that's being blown out the front. Just over the top of the radiator. You know, just doing my best to try to get all the big stuff out of the way. Because again, you know, this dust buildup is just going to hurt your cooling. It's not going to be as effective as it could be. Right, so now we can actually get stuck on the inside. Now, it doesn't look particularly grimy from here, but trust me, there is quite a bit of dust in here. So I think what we're going to do first is actually tackle the video card. So as you can see, there's my NVIDIA GTX 1060, and in there's the heatsink. So there's, you know, there's dust accruing there. So I usually use compressed air and blow in from this angle, because then that'll allow any dust to shoot out the back of the card. You know, well, I say back, but you know what I mean, where the video ports are. You know, so just giving that a good little dusting, so to speak, making sure there's no grime. To be fair, you know, it shows that all the filters are doing their jobs because there was very little dust on the actual card itself, which I think has more to do with my airflow. There was a little bit of dust hiding on the motherboard, but as you can see down in the basement, there's quite a bit of dust there, especially on that SSD that's over to the left. But, you know, so we're just going to keep going with this, rinse and repeating. We're blowing out some of the big bits of dust, you know, also getting some air on those exhaust fans that are down there in the basement. As you can see, look, there's bits flying all over the place. Again, this is just kind of the initial approach, and then I get in with the brush and just kind of, you know, do some fine dusting here and there, trying to get as much off as I can. There's a nice shot at the back of my head. Right, so again, just getting in there, trying to dust off the best that we can. See any kind of build up that's around the radiator. As you can see, this is quite time consuming, but you know, it needs to be done. You need to make sure that you're hitting all these areas, especially the motherboard itself. You know, any unused PCI Express slots, for example, you'll have dust accruing in those, so you know, you want to make sure to try to blow all those out. Same, we come around on this side, and once again, you can see in the basement, you can see how dusty it is down there. You know, but first I'm going to start up here. I'm dusting off the VRMs, dusting off the water block that's sitting on the CPU, just giving the RAM a little bit of a dust as well. What'll end up happening here is I'll have to do this area several times, because you know, I do an initial dusting, then I'm going to go up, I'm going to do the fan, the exhaust fan that's up there, the 120mm. And that's going to make a mess, dust's going to fly everywhere, and I'll come back down and do a little bit more dusting. So here we go. Now I'm starting on this fan up here, right, just kind of getting in there, being careful, I don't want to hurt the blades. What I'm doing at the minute is I'm not actually scrubbing the blades so much as the actual rim, you know, the fan housing, and also the grill on the rear of the case, you know, because that's where a lot of the grime is building up. So again, if I just get like a big duster here to get some of the excess that's lying around, that'll do the trick. Also, the one filter I forgot about is the one that's down on the bottom, which is for the power supply. Because you got to remember, your power supply will be pulling in some air as well. Look at that. See? Quite a bit of dust there. So we need to get that cleaned as well. So now I'm going to take the compressed air, see, and I'm just hitting this fan on the back. And as you can see, quite a bit of dust ended up coming off of that. If you're using RGB fans or any type of fans that are colored, you're going to want to give the blades a wipe as well. You'll notice that your color will begin to fade over time, and quite often that is because of dust accruing on the blades. Most of the blades are, you know, they're translucent, aren't they? So if they've got dust, it's effectively blocking the light, blocking the color from coming through. So you really want to make sure to, you know, clean these as often as you can. Right, so this is basically just going to be, you know, me dusting more and more and more here. In fact, I think we can, let's fast forward a little bit, shall we? I don't think there is much going on here aside from me just, yep, I'm continuing to dust a bit more, Yep, again, just going over with the brush where I need to go. Now, this is a good point here. I use anti-static wipes. These are extremely handy, right? You want to to just, on some of the areas where you want to stop dust from accruing, like for example on these tubes here for the water cooling, same with the water cooling block, just giving it a nice wipe with anti-static wipes can help. Another nice feature of anti-static wipes is it gives it what I call new PC smell. But so basically I always tend to, any kind of plastic surfaces, you know, any surfaces that aren't in contact with anything, you know, like the motherboard or anything, I'll give those a wipe with the anti-static wipes. Again, just kind of prevention there, and also, you know, you're just picking up any last little specks of dust with those, because it'll, you know, it just gets them all caught, so to speak. So same here, I'm just doing the rim of the exhaust fan, you know, or the housing, just giving that a good wipe, and then just one final little blast of air in here, and then we're pretty much looking good for the most part. Now all we need to do is just kind of make sure that everything's back together. So again, we've got it all back together, and I'm going to take these anti-static wipes and give everything a really good wipe down all over the place, you know, just to make sure that it's nice and clean, plus it's giving it a nice smell, and yeah, it's just, you know, it's as simple as that. So I mean, in retrospect, look, you can get away with just a duster and some compressed air to clean out your PC. But keep in mind, if you're using compressed air, just make sure to not shake the can, otherwise you're going to have liquid spraying out and you're going to do more damage than good. And, you know, if you're doing that and you're obviously being careful with what you're doing, you'll be absolutely fine. I highly recommend getting micro filters of some kind for your case, if your case doesn't already come with them, because it's going to save you a lot of a headache. Because then if you're using, you know, positive pressure where there's no air coming in through any of the gaps of your case, you know, you're pretty much going to be dust free. Some is still going to get through, obviously, but it's not going to be super horrible as it could be. Well, anyway, look, I hope that you take care of your PC out there if you've got one. Look, if you don't have a PC, you need to be dusting your other equipment as well, your TVs, your consoles. Yeah, don't rip your console open to dust it, but you know what I mean. You can take a good duster to it. Make sure to use compressed air to clean out any of the intake, outtake ports, exhaust ports. And yeah, dust is not our friend. Anyway, hope this video has been helpful to you. If you hit the like button. If you didn't like it, then dislike. Hey, you know, it's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinion. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, hey, what are you waiting for? It's free. Hit that subscribe. Any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. And I'll catch you next time.